Good morning and Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope that you all are doing well and waiting for today's SST lecture. Today we are going to start the new chapter, that is chapter number 4 of your book, that is climatic change. You can find this chapter on page number 38. I hope that all of you have opened so that you could understand it in a better way. Alright. Now what is being explained in this chapter about the climatic changes that has been occurred daily or that used to occur annually. Okay, so there is some difference, the changes in weather and the changes in climate. First of all, what is the weather? The students remain confused sometimes. Weather is day-to-day changes in temperature. For example, if today's temperature is very hot, maybe tomorrow will not going to be hot, it will going to be cloudy, or the next day it will going to be mild hot. So this day-to-day changes in temperature we refer to as weather. But what is the climate? Climate is the usual weather of a place that remains for a long period of time, mostly for the years or for months. Alright, and it is not changing very rapidly. The temperature changes which occurs rapidly from day to day, that is the weather, while the climate stays for a longer period of time from months to years. Right? Now, what is the climatic change? Climate throughout the world is different. In all the countries are facing different sort of the climate. Why? There are some factors which causes the climatic change different throughout the world. First of all, the position of a place. On which position of the earth the place is located, the country is located, either towards the pole. Mostly the polar countries remains cold most of the years, about out of 12 months, 8 to 9 months they remain cold. While if I talk about the countries which are located on the equator, that remains hot most of the year. So this is called as the position. Environmental effects. What are the environmental effects? The pollution, the surrounding area of yours. If you're living in a surrounding area of like industries which are being covered with most of the industries, so obviously the surrounding area is polluted with the smoke of the industries, that causing the environmental effects, that are called as environmental effects, and that effect upon the climatic change. The climate of those areas remains hot most of the time. And the atmospheric changes, so obviously the seasonal change. If that area is under the layer of the summer season or the winter season, so they will going to show such atmospheric changes, such sort of the rainfall as well. So these we call it as the climatic change, and the climate of different places are different throughout the world. Then we talk about that what is the greenhouse effect. We provide a sustained controlled temperature, very hot sort of the temperature with the help of the glass to grow different sort of the plants, either for growing vegetables, either for growing flowers, either for growing fruits. What is the purpose of creating, giving greenhouse effects? Because there are the plants, the growth of the plants depends upon the certain temperatures. And there are some countries which are having very either cold temperature or very hot temperature. So these drastic conditions, changes in temperatures will not allow the plants to grow very properly. That's why in those places we need to provide the controlled temperature for the plant for growing crops, vegetables, fruits, flowers. Okay, so and what is the important factor of the greenhouse effect? Carbon dioxide. Yes, carbon dioxide is the gas which is being used by the plants to continue the process of photosynthesis that initiates their growth. And you know that carbon dioxide is the wastage for the humans. While we breathe, we used to give out carbon dioxide that accumulates within the environment, and that being trapped by some of the carbon dioxide being trapped by this greenhouse effect as well, to keep the place warmer up to the limit to allow the plants, to allow the crops to grow properly. Okay. Now, global warming. We are being noticed that throughout the world, the temperature limits are now increasing. Temperature becomes very hot most of the time throughout the year. So why is that so? Why we experience the global warming? Just because of pollution. We are giving out much of the carbon dioxide to our environment that leads to increase of the temperature. And these increasing temperatures sometimes very harmful effects upon our surrounding area. Like if the temperature remains high, so what happened? That the areas containing snow on the ice, the glaciers, that will going to melt, and that leads to the flood, especially in those areas which are below the sea level. So it will create drastic conditions. So we need to do something to control the global warming all over the world. Right? And flood and drought. These are the drastic environmental conditions that flood causes the overflow of the water that we are being expected. And in Pakistan, we had experienced the last few years of about 2010 to 2011. We experienced very drastic flood effects just because of the very heavy monsoon rainfall. And you can see it's mentioned in the picture that the areas which are being covered with the floods, they face very drastic effects, and people need to travel. People traveled to the safer places to save their lives. To save their lives. And we had experienced the condition of drought, mostly in the desert area. What is the drought? When there is scarcity of the water. Why is the scarcity of the water? Because in the desert area, the temperature mostly very hot and very little or no rainfall. So they have the underground tanks. They use the underground tanks to save the water. But due to the high temperature, the water evaporates, causing the rivers, the ponds dry, just like this. In these situations, the people of that area were facing the problem of thirst and starvation. Obviously, if they will not be provided with enough water, they will not going to irrigate the crops and they will not going to have anything to eat. So, the people over there needs to travel to different places. That's why mostly the people who used to live in the deserts, they were living the nomadic life. They used to travel from one place to another to save their lives according to the environmental, according to the atmospheric conditions. Right? Now, what can we do? Being the human being, being the participant of increasing the pollution, what can we do to stop this climatic change? As I told you that global warming being promoted by us, human beings. So, that has very drastic effects throughout the world. So, what can we do to reduce this climatic change? We can do many things. What we can do? First of all, we need to use less cars. We used to walk, we used to travel by walk most of the time, or we used to have such type of the vehicles which could release less smoke or smokeless vehicles. To reduce the rate of pollution, that contributes towards that is contributing towards the global warming. Then we need to reuse the paper instead of making it again and again from the wood of the tree, because if we want to make the paper, we need to cut the trees. Trees are being people used to cut the trees a lot from the forest to make paper, guns and all that. So this promotes the accumulation of carbon dioxide throughout the environment. We need to grow more and more trees to make the surrounding environment, to make the surrounding area cool, as it will going to absorb the carbon dioxide, making the surrounding environment cool. You should use less electrical energies by using less electrical appliances. Okay, and you should buy the food products from nearby markets instead of going far away to avoid the use of the fuel and the vehicles. That is participating in your surrounding environmental pollution. And the last but not the least, what can we do to help stop climatic change? Because we are producing the energy with the help of certain fossil fuels, by burning coal, by burning natural gas, that also accumulates carbon dioxide in our environment. So we need to adopt some advanced ways of renewable energy resources. How? By using the natural products, like we can use the sunlight to produce the energy. We can use some wind that works with the wind turbines to produce the energy. We can use water. Sometimes because of the heavy rainfall, we can consume the extra amount of the water and can produce electricity through it, hydroelectricity. And we can use the plant and human waste as well for producing this natural electricity and the gases. But still this method is very costly to do, producing from the waste of animals and plants, but the working to produce the electricity from water and sun is now in process. We can observe in our city as well. So hopefully we will going to be very successful so that we can participate in reducing the environmental pollution, and hence consequently we can control the global warming. We can participate to control the global warming. Okay, that is all related to the topic of climatic change. All the topics has been covered. Now coming towards the working that you will do. The work has already been uploaded on the homework folder. You can see and take the help from it. Okay, let's discuss. First of all, you will do the word meanings. Climate, I told you about the climate. What is that? It's a usual weather that remains in a place for a longer period of the time. What are the glaciers? These are the icy layers on the mountains or on the surface of the earth. Atmosphere, the mixture of gases or the surrounding area. Floods, the overflow of the water. Appliance, any electrical machine. Renewable, capable of being renewed. We can make utilization of something to renew something. Right? Now, question number 2, fill in the blanks. In Sindh province, the summers are dash with the temperature over dash. In the Sindh province, we experience the summers are quite hot just because of its location. It's in the southern part, and temperature sometimes leading to 46 degrees centigrade. Scientists think that humans ourselves using dash to happens. Yes, we are being participating for the climatic change a lot. The atmosphere is like a dash that keeps the earth warm. Our atmosphere is acting as a blanket upon us. that is continuously giving the warm effects. Why? Because of accumulation of carbon dioxide in our environment. A dash is made of glass. What is? A greenhouse that we need to provide the controlled temperature for the growing plants. Carbon dioxide is released when we burn dash, when we burn fossil fuels like coal, like natural gas. If the earth warms up too much, the dash will melt. What will going to be melt? The ice caps, the glaciers will going to be melt. Okay, now question answers. Question number 1. Define the following: solar power, hydroelectricity, biomass, drought and floods. All these terminologies has been explained in the lecture and you can take the help from the book as well. Question number 2. Differentiate between climate and weather. You need to write only two differences. First of all, the definition along with the example. Question 3. What might happen if earth gets warmer? Question 4. What can we do to help to stop climatic change? We can do many things, like we can grow plants and trees. We can use our less vehicles instead. We can used to go by walk. Okay, we can recycle the materials and we can buy the food from the nearby markets. The last one question is, what are flood-proof houses? As I told you that there are some places which can experience the overflowing of the water, especially after the heavy rainfall. So what they need to do, what they can adapt to control the environment, they need to make such houses to build, maintain the architecture of the house in a manner that can control the overflow of the water, that can control the flooding conditions in that area. Alright, that is all related with question answers, and one page of the skill book you will do. Make sure that the page must be selected from your skill book. Okay, skill book, page number 18 of this chapter. How you will do this? The explanation related to the landscapes have been given to you. Which sort of the explanation? The temperature changes and the sea levels. You need to first read this explanation and you can fill the remaining blanks which have been given related to the same explanation that has been given above. Right? That is all related. Dear working students, one thing I would like to ask, that the answers which have been given in the homework folder are just for the reference, to just guide you. It's better to write the answer in your own words. It will be easier for you to understand and to learn later for the exams as well. That is why explanation has been given to you. You can take the help from explanation, you can take help from the reference answers and mold the answer in your own way. I hope that I will going to receive very good answers this time, and that is all related with today's class. If still you have any sort of the query, you can ask on the WhatsApp link. We will going to meet with some new topic in the next class. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.